What's up, you guys? My name's Mini.
I'm Carlton.
I'm Cody.
And I'm Alec.
And this is BroTalk.
You
What's up, you
excited?
guys? I'm so excited.
And you just can't hide it?
I can't hide it.
Yeah.
I'm
If you
just
could
happy
see the
to
smile
be here.
right now, you'd know I can't hide it.
I'm pretty happy to be here too.
Do we have any
Cody.
topics anyone wants to talk about today?
I was just reading that apparently murder rates in big cities are down. That's pretty cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did it say where? The
Yeah.
cities were?
Actually, I have the
So I was
article.
thinking like
Those
if it's
people
like,
are dying.
It's
Also-
like Detroit. Like I guess that counts. It's like
It's Chicago.
Less people were murdered in Portland by one person.
in a Little Rock.
It's Chicago, New York, Detroit, LA, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Houston, New Orleans, Memphis, and Dallas.
Okay,
Wow.
I'll accept that. That's pretty
In
good.
all of those towns except for Memphis, it was down. Memphis and Baltimore.
When it says that it went down, is it like from 200 to like 199?
It went in cases like what's this top one? Chicago went from over 600 in 2003 to 412 in 2013.
I wonder how many people get murdered in Seattle.
I'll Google it.
But I feel like someone does like every day.
Because, like, you don't hear about it, but...
You know that no one gets murdered in Canada? They pull out the knife, they're like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to pull out the knife.
Sorry, I was just cutting a line of coke for you. Annually. I don't know. Probably not as many as you would think. Crime rate in Seattle, Washington: murders, rapes, and robberies.
Ooh, that's probably a good storyline to read. How many murders are there in Seattle?
Oh, this is like Google.
Wait, before we say that, let's all take a guess. I would bet
Okay, well, I
a
already
little
saw it.
less than one per day.
This is.
I'd probably say, like, is this
Oh, okay.
annually?
How many
Like,
people are
yearly?
we saying that live in the Seattle, like 600,000?
It's like
live
600,000
in
live in the Seattle area.
Okay.
Mhm.
How many did you say? I need to get my calculator.
I want to
out
say
do
one
that.
dies a day.
So it'd be like 365 people.
I'd say maybe
That sounds.
200.
Now that's.
I'm going to say like 200 people are murdered in Seattle.
I'm saying one every day.
Maybe.
Oop. 23 people get murdered per 100,000. So multiply that times 6.
About 150.
138 people
Wow, our
Die.
city is a pussy.
die annually.
You're telling me that 400 people die in like Baltimore?
At the same time, there's 6 rapes for every one murder.
Wow.
Because every 100,000 people, there's 120 rapes. Multiply that times 10, and you are 200 away from the amount of robberies. So 1 out of every 10 people get
Is
robbed.
this like muggings or like bank robberies?
I want
I
to
have-
say
Probably
it's probably
muggings.
like mugging.
I imagine-
That'll be a lot of
That'd be
bank
so
Time out,
much
speaking
bank
of
robberies.
muggings, speaking of being robbed, it pisses me off that you pay a little bit more to get that burger at BK where they put the fries on the burger for you.
And you can just put fries.
Just
on
fucking stop being a lazy
You know what-
fat ass. Put the fries on yourself.
You know what really annoys
didn't know
me
that was a
about
thing.
Burger King?
Hmm.
Is it's their code. They have to put 1 onion ring in every pack of fries.
I don't think that's a code.
I don't
I
think it is.
know
think,
it
I,
is.
I
like-
had a thing of fries that didn't have an
You
onion
know what I
ring.
think
Then
it
they
is?
I've
fucked up.
never had a thing of fries that doesn't have a
Coming.
Yeah, they always have an onion
I think
ring.
coming from someone, I work in McDonald's, and I think that's like the sort of universal code for that dude's chill. So if it's like some dude was really cool to me by the first window, I'd be like, hey, throw in some onion rings. And, like you see some chinky motherfuckers rolling up to the first window, onion rings. That's what I'd do.
You just have a code.
Like the assholes don't get onion rings.
Yeah,
or they
no.
get all onion rings where they don't want all onion
See,
rings.
that's how it was. I made pizzas for a grocery store, and that was part of my thing too. If
You
some
put
dude
onion
was
rings on the
cool,
pizza.
yeah, I put onion rings on the pizza. No, if they were cool, I would definitely because our code was we put 70 pepperonis on a full pepperoni, but the pepperonis were like the size of a dime. They were really
So they were
weird.
little tiny fucking
Yeah,
pepperonis.
they were super, but they tasted really good. I would just fucking litter it and hope that my boss wouldn't see it. Yeah, I would just throw a mountain of pepperonis down.
See, it's a small thing. It's like, oh, I'll get you some fresh fries instead of the cold ass fucking fries that have been chilling there for 10 minutes.
Okay, so I'm looking at this list still, and I'm starting to think that robberies are like home robberies, because later on it's thefts. And so I feel like thefts would...
Is there like a rate for that in like Gig Harbor? 'Cause I doubt like there's a few people that get murdered, but
I feel
like
there's
it's
a
so
person
low.
a year.
there have been like 2 people this year.
You guys, there's been a lot of cops on the road lately.
Oh, yeah.
Like, side note, there's been a lot
Well,
of
you're
cops
noticing
just
it because you're
lurking.
driving probably.
Well, when I
It's
was
been
walking,
more.
when I was just walking down
It's
the
been more
harbor,
lately.
like
Really?
the other night I went on a walk with Turi and we just walked, and there were like 5 cops that drove by.
You know what's funny? I was actually gonna say that I've seen way less cops,
I've seen
but I
so
drive in a totally different place than
Yeah.
you do, Mini.
So
a lot
much,
of
dude.
I see a lot more downtown.
Yeah, and that's where I'm there just about every day.
Are you?
Cutting through.
Oh,
I'm right above it on the way to work.
arson. Something that I definitely think would be a lot higher is 75 per every 100,000.
Well, you gotta think, what are some
That's
small...
actually still a lot.
Yeah,
of
what are some
arson.
small
fires?
What are some small buildings that you can light on fire in
How
Seattle?
many murders?
It's like-
do you
There's
think
but there's a
come from
lot
arson?
more buildings than there are people.
That's what I would just think, like, if you're lighting a
I don't
building
know
on
about
fire in Seattle, you're gonna have a tough time actually finding a building that will burn. Because everything is so fucking tall. Like,
Wasn't
you're not...
there a big fire in Seattle a long time ago?
Like,
Well,
you're not
there's a-
just
So
gonna
they,
light...
like, built the city on top of
What,
that.
the
That's
Great
I'm
Seattle
talking-
Fire?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's why. That's like how you can go on the underground tour
Yeah.
now. It's
I
'cause
went
they
on
moved
the
it.
underground tour. You wanna know what's funny?
What?
Midway through, I had to pee so bad. I ran into a Starbucks with my mom, and we missed the rest of the tour. Because I almost pissed my pants.
Okay, so
It was cool, though.
there is they compiled like the most dangerous cities in Washington. Seattle is number 2, and you'll never guess who's number 1.
Who?
Tacoma,
Yakima.
Port
no.
Angeles.
No.
Bremerton.
No.
Spokane.
No. Tukwila. Tukwila doubles Seattle's crime rate.
Oh my god.
And then everybody else isn't anywhere close to those two. Like the closest is Kirkland, which is half of Seattle's.
Jesus Christ. Tequila looks gnar on that chart.
Dude, Tukwila has twice as much as Seattle, man.
Violent crime rate.
I'm never going to Tukwila.
I really want to see what the crime rate of Gig Harbor is.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it.
Because, like, I know there's the occasional carjacking. Or, like...
Dude,
For those
we
who-
saw a car chase that one time.
What?
I don't know if you
Oh,
were there, but
in
we were
Subway?
in Subway.
It was
Oh,
the
dude, I
highlight.
saw that.
It was the highlight of our week.
Holy
awesome.
fuck. It was like right before we walked in, we saw a car speed past on the main road, and then when we're getting our sandwiches, we just hear woo 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 woo, and we see woo.
This is at like 3 a.m.
That
too.
is
that's so
It drove in
cool.
front of Subway too, and we were in there. We're like, what the fuck? We saw those guys. We saw them.
Okay, so rapes per 100,000. Throw out a guess. I'm gonna tell you right now.
In Gig
Murders is a fat 0. 2001, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007. There was a murder.
Where was this at?
Okay,
Harbor?
time
Gig
out, time
Harbor.
out.
Rape-
Those are not correct numbers.
rapes in Gig Harbor.
Well, where are you talking?
I'm not gonna like refer to incidents, but oh shit, that was actually 2002.
In 2002 is an on.
2002 is not even listed. What the hell?
But so rapes in 2012. What's your guess?
In Gig Harbor,
Per 100,000.
Half of one.
one,
There's 2
two.
robberies.
There's 15 assaults. Good Christ.
Probably half of that is coming from our high school.
Probably.
I guess that counts.
There was
dude.
24 auto thefts in 2003 or
Those
2012.
are probably all that one person.
Dude, it was.
But so, for anybody who doesn't know, we live in maybe the most sheltered town in the world.
Like, if the cops were patrolling, they would stop some kid doing graffiti. I would think. And that's the one person.
Dude,
They would
if
stop.
they would
stop somebody walking.
Wait, have you ever
early morning
seen
to take them
graffiti
home
other than
because-
like on stop signs?
No, but I know in the ratchet parts, like Canorana.
The
like,
ratchet part.
Like, I totally know.
The ratchet
The
parts
ratchet
where
parts
people
of it.
only have a PS4. They don't have both
No,
that and an Xbox One.
No, the reason why I said that there's only one person who does graffiti in Gig Harbor is because I think I know that one person. I don't even think he does that anymore.
Dude, they will pick up. You know this happens. They'll pick up somebody walking from Artendale at 1 in the morning.
Dude, that's Like, over in that section, like Artendale, to, I would say, Whitley Hills, I would feel like there's always cops in that general direction.
So for people who don't know, how long mile-wise do you think
About
that is?
a mile, because that is the strain of hoodlum kids. And they live right by the elementary school. And I live literally like a block away from the elementary school. And my buddies used to live over in Whitley Hills.
Dude, it's because people are like fucking and smoking
Well, and
weed
that's the
all
thing,
the
it's like,
time
when
at
I was-
at
when I was
Artendale, the
15,
elementary school.
When I was
Elementary
15,
school.
you would go to the elementary school and you'd smoke hella weed and just do dumb shit like play kickball. And so it's like, hey man, let's go walk to Riley's house. So we did that mile walk on this fat main road. And mind you, it's nighttime. Mind you, we're 15 years old. There's maybe 3 of us.
And it's probably dumping down rain.
Chances are we probably have weed in our backpacks. And those are the people who the cops have to stop. Like,
I honestly think the cops stop those people because they have nothing to do.
that's what I'm saying. They have nothing to do but stop
Well,
the 15-year-olds.
But at
walking on
the
main
same
road.
time, okay, so I'm a New Year's baby, and for my 18th birthday, we all went on the bridge, and we brought a cooler of root beer, because me and Brian are like against alcohol, so everybody was really cool about it. We just got like a few gallons of root beer, and we went to the bridge and hung out and watched the fireworks. But they told us to get off the bridge because they were worried about drunk drivers. And so I think when they see kids walking around, it's also for like their safety
They
aspect.
didn't do that this year. We saw like 5 cops drive by, but they didn't stop us.
Oh, you guys went on the bridge? That's cool.
Dude, Alex McDonald
It
and
called you.
Alex Carter. I think it was just Alex
You
and
were-
Carter.
You're in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Alex and Carter were longboarding in downtown Gig Harbor at night. It was like 12, and they were dressed up like a wizard and like some other like a safari experience. And they were longboarding, so they looked like they were high as fuck, but they were sober as a starfish. And then so they were cruising down in downtown, and a cop pulls them over on their longboards, and they're like, "What are you guys doing? Like, you guys need to go home, or else we'll write you a ticket." And they were like, "Are we breaking the law, officer?" And it's like, because really,
Yeah.
they aren't doing anything wrong, but the cop still has to say
The most
something.
in trouble I've gotten with the cops is I was longboarding on a closed road in the middle of the street. He's like, you can't do that here. It's like, there's no car. Like, there's no cars. There's not even people walking in the road.
That's Gig Harbor cops. Like, oh shit, nothing to do. Let's talk to these
They-
fuckers longboard.
They literally will find teenagers speeding.
One time, Shelby and I, we were at Safeway, and it wasn't even that, like, it was 11 or something, and 2 cops walk in, and they're like, "You guys look like you got something to hide." And I think that they were insinuating that since we were at Safeway late, we were high. I was like, "What the fuck? You're here too?" You know, like, what?
You and Shelby were just... Dude, we go to Safeway at like 3 in the morning.
Yeah, all the time.
All
no
the,
one
like,
questioned.
Sometimes
the
we
other
have
day-
foam swords with us.
The other day, and then we... Like, yeah, the other day, Brian was playing his guitar at Safeway while we all circled around him while Blake told his stories from the Mayflower.
And followed around Christina Aguilera.
Yeah, she did not like that.
Yes, I'm gonna say this. This is the true reason I hate Gig Harbor cops and Alec.
It's because you're a hood.
I hate Alec for 2 reasons. For those of you who don't know, there's 2 main reasons. You've already heard about one of these. 1, he ate Carlton's scones.
Hey, fucking
You
kidding me.
fucker.
You fucking...
You
That was so...
fucker.
I don't even know you!
Moving on. 2, I had gotten out of tickets
Fuck.
time and time again when being pulled over.
You're really good at that.
And then one day, Alec calls me because last year, Alec could never fucking wake up on time to go to school, and he always missed the bus.
It sounds like our podcast.
So he calls me and goes, "Hey man, I overslept. I missed the bus. You gotta come pick me up." I go,
You
"Okay."
gotta.
Those are not the words I said. I said, can you come pick me
No,
up?
he said, "I hate you, but you need to come pick me up. I'm way more attractive than you." And I said, "That's hurtful, but I'll still come pick you up." So
I feel like you're twisting my words.
I grab our buddy,
than your
our
nipples.
buddy Caleb. I also blame him because it's the first time I'd ever been pulled over with Caleb. And I say, "Hey Caleb, will you call Alec real quick to let him know we're on our way?" And he goes, "I can't, my phone's dead." So I pick up my phone, I hit Alec's phone number, and I go, "Hey, sugar tits." As soon as he answers the phone, I literally had my phone in my ear for 2 seconds. I turn, see a cop, I drop my phone. maybe had my phone in my hand for 5 seconds, and I get pulled over, get a $125 ticket for using my phone.
And it was the first day that they were enforcing
It was
the
the
phone
It
laws.
was the first day of that
It was
law.
May 1st. And
That
he's like,
sucks.
yeah, we're starting May. We're enforcing the no
phones.
talking on your phones.
Dude, Mayday. It's a bad day for Cody.
I hate Mayday, and I hate Alec.
Why
So-
do you hate Mayday?
Because it was the day you got that ticket.
That's such a dumb holiday. Like, we just like accept that Mayday is stupid.
Hey, Cody, but it's the mark of the May flowers coming. The
But you-
April showers are
And you have the
done.
Macy's Mayday Parade, right?
I don't-
Is that a thing?
I don't think they have a Mayday parade.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Or is
I
that
think
the
I've heard of that
Daffodil
before.
Parade?
They have
Some
they have
fucking
like a
parade.
Christmas parade, a
I
Thanksgiving Day
swear to
parade.
fucking God, they have a parade for like it's Mayday.
Because think about it. Why else would they have the term Mayday Parade?
They don't. You're saying that
Mayday Parade. Yes, it is.
Google that shit. I feel
Well,
like
it's gonna
that's a
come up
thing.
with one of my. I really like the band Mayday Parade.
Try Daffodil
Oh, that's a
Parade.
band.
Well, and it's also a thing. Mayday Parade Seattle, 2013.
And I feel like they have a main shebang one.
November. Okay,
in, like,
November 7th.
New
What the?
York.
Mayday Parade, November 7th, 2013.
Wait, is that?
Oh no, these are for shows for the band. Mayday Parade Seattle tickets.
Oh yeah.
There's a
At
band
ticket,
called
yeah.
the Mayday Parade.
Huh?
There's a band called.
Yeah, they're a really
Mayday
good band. They're I think.
Man, I just think it's dumb. It just. I remember when Fred first started making YouTube videos. He had one about Mayday.
Parade. Mayday.
See, when Fred like swore and had really bad like thing, like he used to joke about how his mom would beat him, and then as soon as Nickelodeon picked him up, it was like, oh,
Yeah, they put that fucker on iCarly.
Yeah.
It was done.
I only ever saw him after he was on Nickelodeon. I
did too.
never liked
Dude,
him.
that was like my 6th grade was watching Fred.
That sounds pretty metal.
so metal.
That's metal as fuck.
So, for those people who don't know, I'm going to share the most devastating story of my life. Alec's involved.
Fuck!
I was trying to hit his sister back a couple years ago, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
I know. I
And,
know
uh,
that.
By hit his sister, he
Does
means
not mean physically beat. his
yes.
sister.
We are against abuse
Yeah, I'm against
most
abuse.
of the time.
Unless I'm abusing that ass. So, anyways, Alec's little middle school band at the time was playing at the parade, and
Hey,
she
dude,
was
we
like,
got pretty far.
I thought they were playing at the fair.
it was the fair.
or the fair. God damn, I'm thinking
Washington
about
That was
State
good
Fair.
though.
I was thinking
Yeah,
about
at the Washington State Fair.
And so we go and we're like walking around and stuff, and we're talking all the time, and I have the most rager hard on for scones. Like
And these scones are like the best scones.
these
in the world.
people come to Washington for our
Yeah,
scones.
if you have never been to the Puyallup Fair, now only known as the
State.
Washington State Fair, go just to get a Fisher scone.
And be prepared to stand in line for like
and
2
and
fucking
you're
hours.
gonna say it's not gonna be that good.
It's that good.
It's that good.
You'd stand in line for 2 hours and you eat your scone to be so fucking worth it.
Yeah, like
No
you're
idea.
pissed off while you're in line, but as soon as you put that
And you're
thing in
pissed
your
off
mouth-
because you're around like the fat capita of Washington, and you're like, oh my god, I really don't want to be here right now. And then you just get the scone and you realize that there's hope in the world. There's good in the world, and it's worth fighting
light at the end of
for.
the tunnel.
Yeah, and so anyways, I get a baker's dozen, and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to carry those around for 2 hours. And his sister was like, oh, my brother has a bus, let's just put him on the bus, so that way they could stay safe. We come back after his show, and
You
my-
couldn't carry fucking dozen scones
for
around.
2 hours. I
It's in a
don't.
little
That's
bag.
a pain in the ass.
That
It's
is
like a little.
It's like you could.
It is a
you could
pain in
not
the
hold
ass.
them, or you.
I'm
could
gonna
hold
give you a
them.
bag of flour, and we're gonna go to the fair, and you have
Wait,
to carry it the
It's
whole
not a
time.
bag of. It's not
Wait,
even
Carlton, every time I've heard you tell the story, you said when you came back to the bus, there was 11 scones left, right?
No.
No, when I put it on the
He
bus.
had 11. He ate one.
No, I ate 2.
Oh,
Well,
okay. 'cause
I
it was
gave- I
it was
gave
a
your
baker,
sister one.
It was a baker's dozen.
Yeah.
So you had 11.
Yeah.
When you put it on the bus.
When I put it on the bus, and I come on the bus to Drew, your bandmate, eating the last scone, and the whole time you're just like, you shouldn't have put it on the bus, and Hannah's like, you shouldn't have eaten somebody else's scones, and you were like, you shouldn't have put it on the bus.
You shouldn't have put it on the bus. Who?
You shouldn't eat other people's scones.
First of all, it was on that bus. That bus was made for all the band stuff. Like no one else's stuff except for your scones were there. We get there, Drew, Cole, and Kira, and we were all wondering. We were like, "Whose scones are those?" And we thought they were from the other band. And some kid was like, "Yeah, I brought my scones in. Yeah, you can. Yeah, just have some." So we saw that bag and we're like, "Huh."
This is the first time I've
Okay.
ever heard Alec admit that he ate the scones.
Yeah, well,
He's always admitted to me that he. There's no denying it.
no, there is no denying it. It did happen.
Like I remember him being
But it
like,
wasn't
I
like-
don't even remember.
It
But
wasn't.
now-
It wasn't.
He didn't remember because it wasn't a big deal to him.
It was not a big deal.
But
to
he
me.
scarred like my freshman year of high school. You fuck.
Because it was like, man, those scones, oh, whatever. Oh, I thought that. We thought they were the other band.
And
the other
meanwhile-
band thought they were the
Meanwhile,
other
your
bands.
dad is like, "We'll buy you some more scones," and I was like, "I don't want to be a bother." And then your dad is like, "No, let us buy you more scones." And I was like, "No, I'm just glad that other people could have enjoyed them."
He's trying to get laid though. So he's not gonna make your dad wait for 2 hours so he can get more scones. That's the nice thing to do.
Like, and in all retrospect, we were leaving the fair. Like, it was 9:00. Your show was already done. We were walking out, and I was like, I don't want to prolong this any. I don't want to be around Alec after he just had his
Especially
whole.
if you're like,
And then
I
look at us,
actually
we're part of
fucking
the
need my
DA, you know.
scones. Like, I need them.
And
you
I
made 'em
knew
wait
that I
for
was
an hour
going
and
to
a half.
skip school like the next day with Cody and go to the fair. So I was like, I'll just buy more scones. And then we ended up not doing that, and we went the next year. And I kicked his ass in all the games.
Do you still want me
And
to
got
buy
Okay.
it?
and got Rasta banana.
I was so pissed. All I wanted to
I
say
got a-
is that where that came from?
Yeah, he
I got a-
won the Rasta banana,
I got a
man.
3-foot Rasta banana and honey badger.
Dude,
Really?
do you still want me to buy you 11 scones this year?
Yeah, you have to buy me exactly
I
11.
will do that.
Because it's cheaper to buy the baker's
I know.
dozen. But I want you to buy me.
I
the
know.
11.
You told me this.
And you have to carry them around for 2 hours before you give them
I
to
can't
me.
wait till you go to the counter. Yeah, can I get 11 scones? It's cheaper if you just get the baker's dozen. It's two. No.
I know.
I know,
know.
but I have to buy 11.
One time he was like, how about I buy the baker's dozen and I eat 2? And I was like, nope, you have to buy me 11.
And you know what's gonna be funny? When you realize that carrying 11 scones for 2 hours fucking sucks.
Is actually
I do
that
not
big
believe
of a
it's
deal.
that
You
bad.
know, because
bad.
you're
I
not
do
you're
not
not
Because
believe
you have
that.
to think about it every time you touch something else. You're like, oh shit, did I leave the scone
You
somewhere?
can't go to the bathroom.
Okay, that's
without
like what I
carrying
do
your
with
scones
school. I
in.
have my backpack, and then I'll occasionally bring another back, and I remember.
But here's the
every
thing, a
single time.
backpack can go on your back. A bag of scones can't.
Yeah.
You gotta carry that shit.
That would suck.
Okay,
I'm not-
speaking of fair foods, I have a guilty pleasure that hurts me deep at way later.
Is it the deep fried putter?
No, no.
Is it
Elephant ears.
Dude,
Elephant
elephant ears are the
fucking knew it.
best.
Dude, you eat an elephant ear, and the whole time you're eating, you're like, oh, sugar and cinnamon and butter,
And then
yeah.
after you're
And then 20 minutes
That's how I
later,
am every time I get McDonald's. I've started accepting
Yeah.
it too. Like as I'm eating it, I'm like, I'm gonna feel like such shit later on.
I
And
do
then-
that. I ate Carl's Jr. 5 times this week, and each day I knew I was like, oh, this is gonna feel so bad after.
You want to know the thing? So we just recently got a new Carl's Jr. in Gig Harbor, and
worst service ever.
I have not heard one person be like, yeah, it's pretty good. I've heard everybody be like, it's not as good as McDonald's.
What?
I've
I haven't
heard-
heard one person
I-
You
say
know,
Yeah.
who
that.
I think the
I've
one
not heard
person
one
is who says the opposite. I think it's you. 'Cause
No,
don't you
I
like
No,
agree with
the-
Cody on that because I've
Because
never heard anyone be like,
Shelby said it, Shelby's mom and dad both said it. Mini Mitch, I've heard him say it. I know that I say it because it's
Dude,
it's-
in my opinion,
Oh,
I
yeah.
literally said this to Alec yesterday. They're in the same parking lot, the McDonald's and Carl's Jr. If I'm in that parking lot, I will be like, well, I'm already here. I might as well just go to Carl's Jr.
yeah,
Because
It
their
is- it
burger
more
quality is
expensive,
so
but it
much
is
better.
worth
Yeah, if I had more money,
I never get burgers.
If I had like
What do you get?
more than enough
He
money,
gets chicken.
I would get
Just like I
burgers
get at every
because the
restaurant.
burgers at Carl's Jr. are quality
But
compared to McDonald's.
Where
the
my
chicken,
problem is,
I get chicken too. And it's,
okay, because my dad, they have a Philly cheesesteak burger at Carl's
Yeah.
Jr. And my
It's-
dad said it was
it's-
literally the
it's-
best burger he's ever had from any fast food place.
It's pretty good.
Now, however, their service sucks.
Yeah,
dick.
there's some lady there that like there were a ton of us that came after one of our shows once, and she was so mad. And when we went and sat up there, she's like, "I'm not done cleaning upstairs." I'm like, "So we're not allowed to sit up? So you'd rather have us be annoying down here in front of you than up there?"
well, at the same time, all those people who work there are the McDonald's rejects.
dude, half the people who work
I-
there, I think I know 2 people who work there who work like at McDonald's too. Like, they quit the McDonald's job to work at Carl's Jr.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I guarantee a lot of people who are like, Carl's Jr., that's better than McDonald's. And
it's
then they don't
definitely
get a
the
bunch
same
of
shit.
scholarships.
It's literally the same stuff.
McDonald's, I'll give them. They do
You're
a
still
lot
making
of good
minimum
stuff
wage.
for their employees.
I do think it's kind of funny the renovations McDonald tried to make when Carl's Jr. came in.
But
'Cause
they
it
look
looks-
so
it looks-
nice
it-
now.
So-
They needed
so-
that.
Mitch works at McDonald's, and they completely, like, renovated it out. And I was like, so, Mitch, how do you like the renovations? I asked him this maybe 6 times. Every single time he was like, they got some benches. Completely stopped. Like, that's all he commented on.
Because straight up, I think the only thing I can think of, they made a double lane drive-through. They
Which,
added,
by the way, the double lane drive-through is so dumb. The other day, I went on my half an hour break. Dave and I went to McDonald's. First off, I forgot how early my half-hour break was. So I was like, oh, I'm going to get a McDouble, and it was still fucking breakfast. So then when I pulled to the front window, the lady's like, that'll be $4.55, please. So I was like, okay, gave her a $5 bill. When I get to my next window, they give me the wrong meal, and I'm like, this isn't what I ordered. And then they're like, oh, yeah, you paid the wrong amount at the last window. You paid for someone else's meal. And it's like, oh, my God, you can't. Why do you need the two
Was there other
drive-thrus?
people in the drive-thru?
Oh, yeah, there's a ton of people
And
in
that's
the
the
drive-thru.
fucking thing. That's where when I fuck up, I'll fuck up. And when you fuck up like that, it sucks.
But the whole point of the two drive-thrus is so that when there's a lot of people, you can take more orders.
And you know what's ideal? When you have someone to where they could take lane 1 and they could take lane 2 and there's someone taking the money. But when it's early like that, they don't have that much people. So it's someone's taking lane 1 and doing cash. So I'll bet my money that the reason they fucked up is because lane 1, the person at the first window, is also trying to take their order, but also just being like, oh, the next car, $4.55, because that's the way it should be. Like it's like, alright.
It should
But
go
it's
like
so
this.
hard
Like
to filter
the
through
computer
it.
says automatically like, oh,
Yeah.
this car in front pays $4.55, this one pays $12.77. But it's like when there's so much cars and someone just goes in front and you don't even look at it, that's when it's
And
like,
then here's the only reason I got mad at this. I had no problem that I paid more. And they're like, we're gonna give you your money back. And so in my head, I was thinking like, oh, I'm gonna get like $2 or $3 back because I got like one thing. And then they're like, here's 80 cents. And I was like, if you would have told me that the difference was 80 cents, I would have said keep it and drove off.
Yeah.
Because I waited there an extra 5 minutes for them to give me
And when you have a
86
half an
cents.
hour.
Yeah, exactly.
I never. People always said this, but I didn't believe them until I actually did it. Every single person should either work at a fast food place or as a cashier somewhere. Because those are the 2 worst jobs, and it makes you appreciate what other people do so much more.
dude, it really does.
Like, after working in the deli that I worked in, when people fuck up, I'm like, hey, I completely understand. I did it 100 times over the course of the 6 months that I worked. Like, I realize that you guys are really busy and probably don't get the credit
Well,
that
we're
you
saying-
guys.
I would say the same thing about being a waiter.
Yeah.
Because the people I'm a waiter at a retirement home, and the people I
That
deal
probably
with
sucks.
on a daily, like, it makes me respect my waiters when I go to restaurants so much more. It makes me actually want. I can't take tips where I work, and now I always make sure I tip when I go to restaurants.
Yeah.
and it's like you're
just-
always sure that you're a little bit nice.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because when people are just a little bit nice to you, like at your food when you're giving them food, or when you're in the fucking drive-through, whatever it may be, when they're just like, "Hey man, thanks a lot," like
It makes a
like, You're
difference.
cool as fuck. You have a good ass day.
It's those little things that make standing on a concrete floor for 8 hours seem a little bit more worth it.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. The residents at my work who treat me better, I treat them a little bit better. I make sure I get their food first
What up,
compared to the. Let's not say any names. I'm glad. I hope it didn't.
Did you
Okay,
say
legally,
your-
look, when I was hired, I had to legally sign paperwork saying that I would not say where I work or who lives there on social media at all. So that
I said the
includes
same thing
YouTube.
About McDonald's. I wouldn't talk anything about McDonald's. It's like, hey, you're not posting any pictures for McDonald's on your Facebook.
I can literally be fired for posting a photo from work.
Yeah.
And I've done it.
Yeah.
I just have to make sure I don't say it's.
You're not like, fuck
Where
this place.
Yeah.
Fuck
At-
this Mr.
I'll
Brown.
cut it out. No, I'll just beep it so that way we just hear the awkward silence after. Jesus Christ. That reminds me, I just finished the South Park game.
Dude, how
How
was
was
it?
it?
It was surprisingly a really. I hope that they make other games because I know
Really?
that they can make good sequels to it too.
Wait, what game?
South
Stick of
Park.
Truth.
Oh, I heard it's awesome.
That's why I'm pumped for PS4 is releasing this new thing called PS Now. Yeah, PS Now. And it lets you have access to the whole library of PS3 games and some PS2 games.
Dude, Cody, I'm saying it now. You remember how I was like, alright, Xbox One can be awesome. I'm off it.
You're off.
I think PS4 did it better because I know my two buddies who have an Xbox One. I played it. I've seen it. I've also seen the Xbox One fuck up quite a bit.
Really? Like how so?
Like signing in people and like the voice thing where it's like the voice recognition on it. Like you say your voice and then it'll sign you in, or like where it sees a person and it automatically signs it in. It's like through that process. It sounds so awesome, but it's not really executed to the best. And
Yeah.
also, it's like my buddy's Xbox, like the Xbox One freezes sometimes.
Yeah.
That's what
It's
I.
like, that shouldn't be happening with a $500.
This is what I said
That's
right now. I think the Xbox One is almost like the beta test for whatever the next Xbox.
Mhm.
I promise you. I bet you the next Xbox is gonna be insane because
Mhm.
they want it to have its own cable system, its own everything. So that literally you need the one box to run everything you do. But the reason I'm still on with Sony and PlayStation 4, for example, they just announced that PlayStation 4 is going to have an Oculus Rift.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
That's
Yeah.
It's the headset so that
What?
you move around, you feel like you're in
like
the
a
game.
virtual
Like a
reality
virtual
helmet?
reality helmet for PS4, and
Yeah.
it's going to drop next winter.
It's a really cool
Yeah.
story. What happened with them is it was just a bunch of buddies who made it, and then one company closed down, so they couldn't make it anymore because they couldn't get the parts anywhere because they were the one company in the world apparently that made them like affordable. And then when they bought them, they were like, "Cool, we can keep making all of our stuff," and now they're millionaires.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, virtual reality though, I feel like we've all known it's coming.
Yeah.
Like something like that, something to where
They
it's
have
sort of
machines
like
where
gamer.
literally you run, like it's like a treadmill type thing.
Yeah.
And you run on it and you're running in the game. You like crouch and you're crouching in the game. And you've got like a gun and it's
Yeah, no, there's I don't know. I always just like Sony more. I think it's because I played on PS4 or PS3 first, and I think
Yeah.
it's just kind of whatever console you play with first is
Usually
kind of
how
what
it
you
is.
stick
Yeah,
with.
well,
because I had my PS3, I had a PS2, and then I had my PS3, and then I got an Xbox, and I liked my Xbox, and I got a few games for it, but I still go back and play. All
Like
the
I
games
pretty
on
much have an
PS3.
Xbox for GTA 5.
I use
and
it. I use
Minecraft.
it for Netflix.
I'm gonna be honest. The first console I ever had was PS1. First console I've ever had, and then I got a PS2. And then when PS3 and Xbox 360 came out, all my friends were getting Xboxes, and so I was like, "Get on the Xbox train." And then I got Red Rings.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, Microsoft. I want to support Microsoft too because it's a Washington business.
Yeah, Microsoft's headquarters is like 45 miles away from where we live.
Yeah,
But when it fucks up like that makes you not want.
Well, like,
to
here's
be a
the
part
thing.
of it.
exactly.
The 64 was made, what, 10 years
The Nintendo
before?
64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It never... You could drop a fucking 100-pound TV and it would not break.
Well, I don't know if you ever dropped a 100-pound TV. Like that's the myth.
I've
that is the
never held a
N64.
100-pound TV.
Now, granted, I've dropped and kicked N64s like mad and never had
And
a problem.
and you never have a problem with it, but in traveling, like I'll pack up my Xbox and bring it to my buddy's house.
And that'll be broke by the
Those
time you get
times
there.
it's like I hear something shaking in it, and I'm like, dude, I'm surprised. It's been 2 years and it still hasn't fucked up. Like
Mhm.
I'm
And-
waiting for the day, and I know it's coming. And for
and-
me to know that it's coming, and I spent that much money on it,
And
it
it's
makes
like,
you doubt it.
it's supposed... When it came out, it was one of the best technological things ever. And it broke for no reason at all. Sure,
It
my
overheated.
My
broke.
PS3, it's old. If I turn on too many like score multipliers or something, sure it'll freeze.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between me having to just unplug it and plug it back in compared to me having to buy a complete new
Yeah.
console.
The
I
only
just said
problem
mine.
I've had recently with my PS3 is because I got a PS4, but once I've been trying to play like Skyrim, and it'll freeze occasionally with Skyrim, and it'll always like it'll either go back or I'll just have to turn it off and back on. The biggest problem I've had so far though is I wanted to download a God of War game, and I deleted most of my files because I wasn't gonna play any of the old games I have, and the only game save files that I kept were my Skyrim save files and my Last of Us save files, and I go on and I have like 35 gigabytes free on my PS3. And I go to download this like 30 gigabyte game, and it still says I have no free space.
It's because to download a game, you need to have at least like 50 gigs spare space on your system to download it in full.
Games are fucking.
Now I will say this: I have been thoroughly impressed with the PS4 thus far.
God.
Like I haven't had any problems, and especially after I started playing Infamous Second Son,
oh my God, Second Son's
because
so great.
it literally takes complete advantage of the system. It does. You just use the touchpad on the controller. It does this awesome thing where, like, as you suck a power out of something, the sound will start on the TV and then it'll come to your controller, so like makes you feel like you actually gain the power.
Like, do like a graffiti and like you have to
you shake the controller, hold it sideways, and you have to spray it like a spray can.
Really?
Yeah, it's nuts.
And I think Xbox, they're really dipping. Like, they announced a couple of weeks ago, this isn't like new news or anything, but they kind of kept it under wraps. They're dipping on the Kinect idea. After saying for years that they would never give up on it.
They're dipping on it?
It's not going to be as big game-wise. The only purpose of Kinect is for...
And you're going to have to win the next, like when the Xbox One Part 2 comes out, whenever they release like the second one, it's not going to come with it like pre-equipped. You're going to have to buy it.
I think that's smart.
They just realize that for how much they're spending to put it in every single console, it just...
I actually heard that pretty soon, they're like within the next calendar year, there's going to be an Xbox option that's cheaper, and it's because it will come without
I
Kinect.
have it. When I got my 360, I got it for my grandparents. I got the Kinect with it. I have not used it one single time.
No.
I don't think I've ever like looked into.
Well, because it's like now, what do you really use Kinect for besides like Just Dance?
Like, yeah, when
Like,
Kinect
they
came
haven't
out, it was
utilized
like, oh my gosh, Dance Central. That's awesome. But I'm not going to spend an extra $100 for one game.
You know what I was really glad about? When PlayStation, so when Kinect was a really big thing for like Dance Dance Revolution, PlayStation and Sony came up with the PS Move.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Move was...
And then they were like, this is going fucking nowhere. This is literally just for dance games.
Well, the thing I liked about the Move is that it used the camera, so it could see what you're doing, but it also had a controller, so it was more precise rather than the Kinect. You had to like...
There's an entire console for that, though, and I think Sony realized that they're not going to fuck with Wii.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what the fuck I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for the day, and I feel like it's already here, but like it just hasn't been like fully released. But like, you remember you can get the gun attachment for the Wii? Something almost like that, to where it's like it's a fake gun, and you have the Kinect, so it's like it recognizes where you're pointing, and you just like wave your arm to fucking reload, and then like when you crouch, your screen crouches. Like, that seems doable with Kinect.
Oh, and that's where
It
the
seems so
Oculus
good.
Rift is going.
Really?
Yeah.
Minnie and I have talked I know I've said to him, here's what I think that Disney should do that could possibly like put them on the gaming planet for the first time in forever. Oculus Rift with Wii, you make a Star Wars game.
That'd be sick.
It would be so cool.
Dude, it was Reem's birthday yesterday.
Yeah. It was.
He's got too big of a head to care.
Yeah, he wouldn't remember. But I think that they're the one company who's willing to put in enough money to see. Because...
They have lots of money, dude.
And one thing about Disney is their philosophy is if you pay enough money to make something good enough, people will come back. Like when the person designing It's a Small World, she was like, what's my budget for the costumes? And Walt Disney was like, if you spend enough money, people will come back.
It wasn't about a budget.
Yeah.
It was about if you make it good enough, doesn't matter how much you spend, people will want to see it again, and they'll spend more money to come see it.
And when you have that much money to where you can be like, hey, this game will be as good as we make it. Like, and especially Star Wars, like, people fucking love Star Wars.
I know people will buy the console that it comes on.
It's like
just to play
me
that
right
game.
now. I've been with the guys through the purchase of any loader video game. I've played all the loader video games. War in the North was all right. I played it a little bit. I watched you guys play, but it wasn't like what I want out of a loader game.
Yeah.
But they're coming out with the new game Shadow of Mordor, which is supposed to be like an Assassin's Creed, but in Middle Earth.
It looks so fucking sweet. If you haven't seen
It's literally Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed.
So this might finally be the game I want from that universe. And as far as Star Wars goes, there has been many great Star Wars video games, but there really hasn't been that many good ones in the past,
The one for the Kinect.
5 years.
5 years?
7 years.
Yeah.
Battlefront 2.
since
Yeah.
Battlefront.
Where
2.
the hell? I want a Battlefront 3. Disney. There you go. Battlefront 3.
While we're on the 3 topic, where the fuck is Half-Life?
It's coming. While we're on sequel of video games, where the serious fuck is Fallout 4?
I was thinking that right before you fucking said it.
Yeah.
Fallout 4 needs
Speaking
to come
of
around
sequels, Arkham Knight is
Holy hell.
It's gonna
Yeah.
make me buy a PS4 because it's only on next gen consoles, and I'm just gonna have to do it because I'm the biggest Batman freak ever. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a Batman half sleeve when I can finally afford it. I'm super jacked for it.
Tattoo?
Yeah, it's gonna have the Gotham skyline, and then it's gonna fade up into pretty much like around here, and it's gonna start like right there.
Nice.
Yeah. But so anyways, it just looks so good.
Is it gonna be more of a difference than Arkham City to Arkham Origins?
The thing is Arkham Origins was so forgotten about.
Yeah, I didn't even play Arkham Origins.
Yeah.
I got it. I played the first like hour, and it wasn't even because I didn't like it. It was just because.
Did it seem repetitive of the older games, or?
I played it at Colin's house, and it seemed like I was like, "Wow, this is."
The
pretty
thing
much-
about-
it seemed like a lot like Arkham City.
The thing about Arkham City and Arkham Asylum is they all started off so good, but this one it pretty much just put you into the game, like, and that's where you could definitely tell the difference between production companies, is because the one who made the first 2 games made the first 10 minutes possibly the best 10
I
minutes of
love
the game.
the first
When-
Arkham Asylum.
When you're
taking the
running
Joker.
through the asylum and
Yeah.
you start off driving the Batmobile into into the asylum,
Yeah.
and it just is kind of like Arkham Origins. It's like,
Did it just plop you somewhere?
yeah, you're like driving in the Batwing, and then it just pops you down, and it's like, here's your suit, and then it shoots your suit down, and you start.
It's like, go where you want to go.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like, and Arkham City started off really cool in the fact of it put you like in the prison and you had to find your way out, and it taught you the game through finding your way out.
Instead of being like, hey,
Yeah.
here's how you beat people up.
Uh-huh.
Here's a tutorial on these 3 thugs.
Yeah.
You know what game I'm skeptical about the new Assassin's Creed. I'm still gonna get it because I love Assassin's
I didn't
Creed.
hear that they were making a new one.
Yeah,
It takes place in Paris.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad because I feel like they're gonna venture. Which Cody and I talked about this. They're probably gonna venture away from the naval path, which was awesome. Like the ships and Black Flag and Assassin's Creed 3 was cool, but I mean it's time to move on. I'm just really interested to see because I mean I don't know if it's gonna be awesome or if it's just gonna be very similar to other ones.
I just hope it's not like Assassin's Creed 3.
Because it
I
takes
heard
place during the
3
French Revolution.
Like, 3 looked so awesome before it
Yeah.
came out.
It looked so cool.
And then when it came out, I don't think I've really heard a good thing.
Dude, I didn't even finish it.
I
didn't
finished
like
it. I liked the story. Actually, my favorite part was the DLC, which was the Tyranny of King Washington, because, I can't say anything without spoilers.
Just spoil it.
It's what, a 5-year-old game,
if you've played,
4-year-old
I
game?
mean, if you've played Assassin's Creed
2,
3, you know that
Really?
the
It's
main
only-
character is native, half Native American, half English, and in the DLC, the Tyranny of King Washington, in the very beginning, his village doesn't get lit on fire. He stays on the full Native American path, and he's just a super badass. And it goes into like all this tribal stuff where you can, and then like King George Washington like finds the Apple of Eden, and controls the colonies, and like builds this pyramid that you have to go in and like. It's so cool.
This makes me really want to get Assassin's Creed 3 because people will sell it for like $5 because I'll never play it again.
I mean, it's worth if I was pissed because I paid $60 for it.
I
If
got
you
the
can
special edition, so it has like a metal case and
Yeah,
everything.
if you can pick it up for $5, $10 from somebody,
Dude, it's
totally worth it. Now, Black Flag has been very worth the $60.
Oh, yeah.
I heard Black Flag is fucking awesome.
Just
Yeah.
because it's totally a shift from the norm.
Yeah,
you know?
the character is so much different than the
And
rest. He's
one
like,
thing-
I'm gonna do what I want.
One thing I'm hoping is that they don't go back to the ships, because I hope that they're just like, this worked really well for this one game.
Yeah, I hope they
Let's
keep
not
the
push it.
mechanic. Like, I hope
Yeah.
there's like maybe one mission that is naval
But they
based.
devoted that. They devoted that whole.
But that entire game
games.
is naval based.
I really think like in a sense of, you know how in Grand Theft Auto 4 they had the one robbing mission. Everybody loved it. So when 5 came out, they're like, let's
do heists.
fucking heist the shit out of this. Because it worked, and heists are awesome. So it worked really well.
It was
Shi-
it was by far my favorite
Ships
part of 5.
worked. They went to town on ships on Blacklist.
And it.
I
Black-
hope
Black
I hope
Flag.
they call it good. Black Flag. I was thinking Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. It worked.
There's a new Tom
Let's
Clancy
count it
game
up as a
coming out.
win and let's
Mhm.
move on.
Yeah.
There's a new Tom Clancy game coming out, and actually, like, I watched a video on it, and like, you shoot the holes through billboards, and like streams of light come through, and like, you shoot glass and like chip away until it like shatters. It's really
as long as we're still talking about video
attention
games.
to detail.
The one we watched all her show us the
Watch Dogs.
gameplay from yesterday, which was Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs looks sweet.
Like
It looks
all the hacking things you can
Yeah.
do looks so sweet. My favorite thing, I told Carlton about this, but Mini, if you're pulled over by the cops, you can push a button on your phone in game that'll black out the city so that every light goes out and you escape that way. And every single as you're walking around, you can see who has cell phones and computers, and you have the ability to hack any of them to get anything you need, and
the
to like
bank accounts
to
and
rob
stuff.
their bank accounts and stuff through their cell phones. And it looks like a GTA 5, or
But
just a GTA in general.
With like open map and yeah, it looks pretty sweet.
What I'm seeing about it is it looks really original.
Mhm.
It looks like something that's
The
not
story
just
of
another
it looks.
sequel.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought about a lot of next gen titles.
Mhm.
Is it's like, sure, they're the normal amount of sequels, but I feel like a lot of people came up with game ideas and were like, no, let's wait for the next console so that we can be a big deal when that comes out and not
That's
just another
smart.
title.
That is
And they
smart.
they want it to look prettier too. You know.
Speaking of which, Titanfall, there's going to be a lot of Let's Plays on that for those of us who have Xboxes,
Really?
which is you, me, Sam, and Tommy.
I have an Xbox.
360?
Yep.
Get ready to play some Titanfall.
Wait, Titanfall? I thought it was only for Xbox One.
No,
thought it
it's
was
360.
I
It
don't
comes
have-
out for 360 in 2 weeks.
Watch Dogs is 360 also. I had to double check that to see if they would go to
Well, it is.
older gen. But,
It is on next gen as well. Like I'm
Yeah.
getting it for my PS4.
oh, dude, like next gen. Oh my god.
It's gonna be
That's
incredible.
gonna be pretty.
Yeah.
But yeah, Titanfall. Have you seen gameplay from it?
Mm-mm.
It
I-
looks.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's
I
pretty
kind of
awesome.
wish I would have picked up that. There's an Xbox that it's still there. There's an Xbox 360 chilling at
Goodwill.
Goodwill right now
Oh, really?
for like $20. I kind of want to bring because I have all the cords for it because I have a broken Xbox at my house.
Mhm.
Kind of want to bring one there. Be like, do you mind if I see if it works? And if it works, I totally pick it up.
That's
Yeah.
smart.
Just so that I can play some of like Stick of
Be a part
Truth.
of
I want to play
Let's
Stick of
Plays.
Truth so bad.
I think that's
Um,
smart.
But yeah, I definitely think that next gen is gonna be awesome, and we're just scratching the surface of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Because people who were raised on video games are now starting to make them. So people who've spent their whole lives
That's-
playing, they're now the people who are making them, and so they know what works. They know what pisses people off. And so I think we're going to start seeing a lot less of that filter. And so I really think that this is the start. I know that people played a lot of video games in the past, but I really think this is the start of the great video game era.
Oh yeah. I think Second Son has kind of definitely solidified that thought in my mind because Second Son is by far so like I've only played a little bit of it, but it's one of my favorite games I have for my consoles.
Oh, definitely.
It's that good.
Yeah.
Dude, it's open world in
Best
Seattle.
game type, by the way.
Yeah. Also, I played the other two Infamouses, and the first one was great, and then the second one was even better, and then this one just it blows those out of the
And
water.
there is Easter eggs throughout the whole game to the other.
There was like a picture I saw, and it was like
Cole McGee's Electronics is
Yeah.
one of them.
There's one, and it was like it was on a sign. It was like, if in case of fire, jump off. You'll be fine. It's a video game.
I like PewDiePie. I was watching a South Park gameplay the other day, and he said something that I thought was pretty interesting. He's really noticing that games are becoming a lot more like humorous.
Yeah.
Like they're not trying to be super. Like obviously there'll always be Call of Duty, which have no humor. It's pretty much just like you go in and you shoot. That's that's the only point. But games from like The Last of Us had a lot of witty one-liners, and from what I've heard, Infamous does.
Yeah.
Stick of Truth obviously is a comedy game. Like, and that's one thing I'm really glad is that video games are starting to expand the horizons, and those other games are getting noticed.
Because like when you were saying that, I was thinking of Splinter Cell Blacklist, because I was like, yeah, they do take themselves really seriously, but that's the point of the game, is you're some serious secret agent. But now that I thought of it, it's like, how many Splinter Cell games have there been where that's the same case?
Exactly.
And maybe that is the old ways of video games, is to
And
take yourself really
speaking of
seriously.
comedy, have you guys ever played Battlefield Bad Company 1 or 2? The whole thing is like a big comedy with these like 4 military like Bad Company is like a group of shutouts from the military that just go around and fucking blow shit up, and it's hilarious. And they've announced Bad Company 3, and if you're in like light comedy and army games like Call of Duty or Battlefield, it is perfect because it's hilarious gameplay.
One thing going into it had a huge hype going off that, and just dropped Battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had the
4
biggest
or-
hype going into next gen.
You know what I think it is? I think even on next gen, it looks really pretty, and I have it for.
It does look.
I have it for 360, and you know what? To be honest, I've hardly played it. And you want to know why? Because regardless of if it's 360 or if it's Xbox One, people who have it for the Xbox One say, yeah, it's still as glitchy as it is on 360.
It kind of confirms the belief for me that graphics don't make the game.
No.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you have fucked up, glitchy things where you're running and then you'll keep running in the same place, and that's next gen, it's like, why would you even spend your money or spend your time playing something that's just fucking up?
See, and that's why I still play Call of Duty, is because a big thing about Battlefield is they've always been like, but our maps are so big. I don't have glitch problems when I play Call of Duty on my next gen console. But anytime I've tried to play Battlefield, I have those glitch problems because they're trying to say, our graphics are awesome, our maps are so huge, but they're so huge that the console can like barely handle it, and the game itself can barely handle it.
Yeah, it's hard for, and I think one of the things about games is YouTube, like, people see people play games, and no YouTuber will play Battlefield because it's so glitchy, and it's so is like stop and go, that they don't want to put it out because it's not good content. Nobody wants to hear somebody get upset over lag.
Or see someone running for 3 minutes to find one person.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's kind of, or going up an elevator for 45 seconds. Like, that's not entertaining to watch.
One thing I did like about Battlefield 3 is I always enjoy stories. Like, I know a lot of people get first-person shooters for the multiplayer, but I really enjoy the stories a lot of the time, and I did like the story of Battlefield 3.
I played the shit out of Battlefield 3 for a while, and that's because I had a buddy to play with online all the time. And I think Battlefield 3, I really did like the multiplayer, and I think I just played too much of it. But it wasn't really all that laggy, and like it still looked pretty for a 360 game that was released how long ago it was. Like, I really like the multiplayer on it, but it's like, to have the multiplayer on Battlefield 4 be worse than Battlefield 3, like...
And another reason I feel like Battlefield has been brushed under the rug is, it was when Next Gen's launched, Battlefield was the game to get on both, right? But now, here comes Titanfall, here comes Infamous Second Son, here comes all these games that are full using everything these next gen consoles can do, and Battlefield is just And the same thing goes for Call of Duty. It's just not impressive.
Yeah,
I want something new.
It was what, like Call of Duty, Battlefield, and Madden. Is that what was
That
the
was the
release
Pretty
launch
much.
NBA 2K14.
Yeah, that was another
PS4
one.
had like
14.
had what, like Killzone was a PS4 launch
Killzone.
title.
Yeah.
I know that they
Killzone?
didn't have more than 5, did they?
No.
Mm-mm.
It seemed like
Killzone, I really like the game, but I'm just so upset about this one part that I'm stuck on. And then I've already heard the ending, and it just was like, they're so anticlimactic to the game.
it seems like when they released it, they released very staple games. So it's like, hey,
Yeah.
don't worry, you know these titles, you know they're gonna be good. But now
Yeah.
that we're getting to like the newer shit, the Watch
my
Dogs,
God.
the Divisions, those sort of things.
And what game I'm
that's what
pumped for?
excited for.
I think Destiny is gonna be really
Yeah.
cool because I have hope that Bungie will see how well Destiny, because Destiny is the first Bungie title that will be available for both consoles. Bungie has before been strictly Microsoft, strictly Xbox. Now I have a very slim hope that maybe the next Halo will come out for both consoles.
Yeah,
And
sweet.
if that happened, I think
Keep
Xbox
myself.
is dead.
Yeah.
Really?
Because I know so many people
Yeah.
who own. I think Titanfall is going to help a lot too. Because Titanfall is
Titanfall 2, they announced, is not exclusive though.
But really,
Shit.
if you
They're
think
already
about it,
planning the sequel, and they said that it will be for the PS4.
if you think about it, what is it? Forza that Xbox has? Like,
They also have Rise.
it's like they don't really have that much things to rope you in. And
I mean, Halo
what
was
they
one of the
had to
reasons
rope you
why.
in, they had all these new innovations. The Kinect's gonna be the shit. Like, just say your name and you're gonna sign in perfectly. But it's like when they don't really execute it that well.
Yeah.
What do you really have?
They
to
had a
say
lot
to
of
it?
futuristic ideas with modern day technology,
That's a good way to put it.
and so
But like, I think if Halo comes to both consoles, you're gonna see Microsoft going downhill pretty quick.
yeah.
But I don't know if that'll happen, just because Halo has been the Xbox staple for so long. I mean, and it's not like PS4 has crazy awesome exclusives. They have Infamous, They have-
Thief.
Uncharted, which if you guys have never played Uncharted,
Oh, I love it.
play the Uncharted games because they play like a movie, almost,
Really?
and they're super fun. And the storyline is just so good, and it's a quick game. You could play in a week and then return it and get all
Yeah.
your money back. But it's worth the playthrough because it's super fun.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's definitely is like if Halo would leave, and that's kind of a big if. I think it would be the end of Xbox exclusives because Halo has been one of the top 5 selling franchises and games of all time.
Yeah, behind like Mario.
You
Yeah.
know what's weird though? Is I guess this is just for me, or I guess for a few other people, but when Halo 4 came out, I still think if you were giving people a choice, hey, do you want to play Halo Reach or do you want to play some Halo 4?
I would play Reach.
I'd play Reach.
Really, I didn't care for Reach.
I didn't care for 4 too much. And it was something about it. Something about 4 just, it wasn't as good as Reach. And even now, to this day, like, even back to a month ago, me and my buddies were playing online one night. We're like, alright, we're done with
Oh,
Battlefield.
4 or Reach?
We're done with Battlefield 4. We're done with playing a game of Madden. What do you want to play? What games do you have? I have Halo 4. I have Halo Reach. That's literally the situation. We're like, you know what? I haven't really played 4. It's just sort of been chilling there. And you'll get one game in, you're like, I remember why I didn't play 4. Because it's not that spectacular. And the people who do play 4 will kick your ass.
It's kind of with every Halo game for me, I expect it to be so much better than the previous one.
Yeah.
And it was just on the same exact level for me that the previous couple ones were on.
Mhm.
Talking about Halo 4.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Compared to the leaps and bounds that Reach was for me, it doesn't compare. But now that we've talked about video games for 32 minutes, we could talk about something else. Did you guys... I know that you guys aren't big PewDiePie fans like I am. He hit 25 million subscribers. a couple days ago.
Is he number 1 on YouTube?
Oh yeah, by 7 million, I think 8 million. There's nobody even close.
Dude, that's ridiculous.
He's gaining 1 million almost every 3 weeks, which is unreal. And he announced that he's working with a charity called Save the Children.
Heard of him.
And it pretty much just works with underprivileged children. It gives them books, it gives them like shoes and other clothes, it gives them food. And he said that he will, for every 1,000 views, he'll donate $1. And that doesn't sound like much.
But when
But
you
it's
make it
views.
But when you
millions of
get
views.
10 million views or 15 million views every video, that's $15,000
It's a lot.
to donate. And he already is like well known as being one of the most like giving people because he makes so much money and he's just was like a 25-year-old guy who's like I don't
need this.
I don't deserve millions of dollars. I play video games for a living. So he always, every time he hits like a milestone subscriber, like 10 million, 15 million, and now 25 million, he always does these kind of charity things where he's like, help these guys out. Our goal for all of us, all 25 million subscribers, is $250,000.
That's good. That's good that he's giving back, dude.
Yeah, he's a good guy. And I definitely, for everybody who's listening to this, definitely go watch that video, so hopefully he'll donate some more money, and be sure to check out, if you watch the video, he'll tell you how to check out the charity, and be sure to look at donating. If I had more money, I would do it, but the solid like $2 that I have right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, especially since ordered a new mic.
Really?
Yeah, it was supposed to be here Friday so that we could use it today and try and test out using 2 mics at the same time.
And it wasn't.
And it got stopped in some place in Illinois. I got really pissed off.
Oh, you know what pisses me off about shipping? I hate when you can see that your package is like waiting in the town next door, like
When it's 20
like
drive
you
minutes
could,
away.
yeah, you could go drive 20 minutes and go get it yourself, and you've already been waiting for it like a week. That's just frustrating.
Yeah, it's also frustrating when I ordered comics. I ordered Batman New 52 #1, and it was shipped from California, had to go to Maine, and come back over to Washington.
It had to go to Maine
It had to go to 3 corners of the country.
before it went to Washington.
Whoa, it went from one corner to another corner to finally our corner. And that just pissed me off. And I looked at Wyatt and they were like, we need to make sure that everything is processed correctly and everything's being shipped correctly. I was like, look at it before you put it in the fucking box.
I
Like,
feel like it almost would have been easier just to go to Washington first. Like, wait.
Do they
we
not
have
have-
to go to the other coast first?
do
so
they
that
not
we
have
take their-
UPS, like, regional managers in Washington? It pissed me off. I was really upset. It's kind of like, shipping is, I realize that it's hard to do. How do you start a shipping company?
Dude, you gotta plan that shit out, and you're like, hey. I mean, I can't imagine the process of actually like scheduling all that shit.
How did UPS get started? And FedEx?
It's a good freaking question.
Were they just like, hey, do you guys have any packages that you want us to take to the next town over? And then they just gradually like started. Shipping is expensive as dicks too. My mic cost like $90, and I wanted to do 1-day shipping. It would have cost me $135.
Jesus Christ.
That's $43 to get it the next day. And I was like, fuck, it's not that worth it.
Yeah.
No.
Like, I understand if you need, like, a new projector because you're doing a presentation to get a job the next day, and you need it for that reason. But other than that, like, do you really need anything that bad the next? Have you ever done 1-day shipping on your grapple or
No.
your crossbow?
The thing is, I ordered those and it came like 2 days later, and I didn't do 1-day shipping.
That's weird.
I feel
See,
like
but when I do 1-day shipping, it comes 5 days later, and they're like, sorry for the delay.
I feel like with some people on like eBay or something, like they'll hook you up with shipping. They'll be like, "Hey man, we'll get it out tomorrow. We got you."
Well, here's the
If
tricky thing about 1-day shipping. Is it's all about when the company or person gets it out.
Yeah.
Because you can go, if you're on eBay and you ask for 1-day shipping, yeah, it'll ship in 1 day, but that doesn't mean the guy who you bought it from is gonna ship it the next day.
Yeah, like when I got my mic, I got it last Saturday night, and when I was looking at the 1-day shipping option, it wouldn't start shipping until Monday. so it wouldn't get here till Tuesday. So I would be paying pretty much $40 for a 3-day wait because of the fact that
They don't ship on Sunday.
they
Where'd you
don't
buy it
ship
from?
on the weekend. Amazon.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, I feel like if you buy it from an actual like a mic company, they'll have the standard. All right, 5 to 7 days shipping is you won't have to pay anything extra, but you can pay for the upgrades. But there's some people on either Amazon or eBay where there's not even like, all right, standard 5 to 7 days. It's like, hey man, you buy this, like we'll ship it.
That's how.
as soon as possible.
That's how my thing was. It was like 1 day shipping, 2 to 3 day shipping, 4 to 5 day shipping, and then 5 to 8. 5 to 8 was the only one that was free, and that's what I ended up doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it said it should have got here on the 20th, which was Thursday. And then I checked my email Thursday, and it's like, it got delayed. And I was like, well, where is it? It's like, Illinois. I was like, well, shit.
That's a good point though. Like, why do you really need something that much quicker unless it's like a straight emergency? Like, you bought a video game online. It's like, do you really need to play the video game Thursday night as opposed to Sunday?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that was one thing one of our buddies did. He got GTA 5. He didn't pre-order it, and he ordered it online and paid the obscene amount for 1 day shipping because he wanted to play it the next day.
Get it at a fucking store, dude.
Does every city not have a GameStop?
Every fucking place does, dude.
Like, and that was one thing that I was kind of just like,
Why'd
You
you
know.
pay $75?
And also- is there another pure game store?
Besides GameStop?
Like, sure, there's like Target and Walmart.
There used to be Game Freak used to be a thing,
Yeah.
but Game Freak was technically attached to
The video.
Hollywood Video.
Dude, you guys,
When I think of Game Freak, I think of Pokemon.
you know what I think of?
Oh, Game Crazy is actually what it's called.
Blockbuster. Like, kids will never know what that means. Like, we're gonna be the old people who are like, we're telling stories about Game Freak. We're like, yeah,
They'll
wait till
never
Game
understand how unbelievably frustrating it was opening up the VCR case and seeing that the fucks didn't rewind it before you.
Yeah.
Freak. Never.
They never did it. And then you were like, I'm not going to do it because the fucks before me didn't. That's why it wasn't ever.
Dude, I hope you guys realize that our kids probably won't know what DVDs are.
That's a good point.
And by the time we have kids, hopefully, guys, hopefully, they won't even know what Blu-ray is.
I hope so because I don't have to go buy another fucking set of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I really hope Blu-ray stays a thing, but I feel like DVDs now are like...
Well, the thing with that
outdated.
is, if anything, you'll have PS3s and PS4s to play Blu-ray on.
Well, and like now people just stream movies or they just download them.
Yeah, that's the
online.
thing. I don't know if there will ever be a another thing other than Blu-ray, just because, like, for example, when they started making 3D movies that you could buy from home, they didn't have a whole new disc. It was just a Blu-ray 3D.
Mhm.
And that's why you get players that are Blu-ray and like my player at home can play DVDs, Blu-rays, and 3D Blu-rays.
Has that whole thing kind of died off?
What?
I feel like the whole 3D craze is kind of.
Yeah.
Well, this is
Died
why.
down.
Cody and I
I
talked about this the other day.
talk. No one is making advancements in 3D, right? No one is trying to push the boundaries on 3D. I like where 3D's at right now. 3D used to be like, oh, I'm gonna shoot out the screen with my Spy Kids 3D claw. But now it's about depth. It's about trying to pull you, make you feel like you're in the movie.
You definitely
instead
feel a
of
lot more immersed.
yeah, instead of making the movie feel like it's coming at you.
And that's one thing that I think a lot of kids don't understand is they're like, I don't understand why I get one thing popping out of the screen at me. It's like, you're telling me that you see Hobbit Desolation of Smaug and it doesn't look as good with how deep it looks because it definitely, in fantasy world situations, it makes you feel like you're a lot more in there.
Yeah.
And I've always been against 3D. I've always been like, it doesn't make that much of a difference. But I realized that one time. I think I went to see the first Hobbit, not in 3D. And then like 20 minutes later, I went to see it again because somebody else wanted to see it. And I saw it in 3D and I was like, holy.
Like,
And then when we saw The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug 48 frames 3D, that my dad was like, did it actually make a difference? I was like, yes,
It makes
it
a
made it
huge
so
yeah,
much.
seeing Unexpected Journey in 48 frames.
for real though, you don't understand when you're watching a 3D movie, you don't know because you feel it, like it pulls you in so well, you don't know that there's a difference. But when you instantly after that watch it in 2D, because that's what I've done, because I own the 3D Blu-ray of Unexpected Journey, and I've watched both like back to back. You could definitely tell a big difference.
It's I'm so pissed at Weta right now, the company who makes all the Lord of the Rings stuff. They're always trying to find a way, because the way that they do the Middle-earth movies is they are like, okay, here's this, and then a month before the next one comes out, they release the extended one. So they always have issues with people buying the non-extended version, because people are like, I'll just wait another 6 months to buy the better one.
I bought both.
I always buy both, and I swore to God I wasn't going to do it with Desolation of Smog, and then they announced, did you see what it was?
Mm-mm.
It's bookends of the dwarf statue standing outside.
With what?
With the movie. It's 2 giant lead bookends of the dwarves standing there holding the axe.
Oh, man. Is that for the extended, or is that for the non-extended?
No, that's for the non-extended.
Oh,
and
man.
They will never sell the bookends. It's only available with the DVD.
Yeah, I'm buying that.
I'm so... Yeah. Right? You can't not buy
not
that.
buy it.
Especially now that I need bookends. Now that I actually have like graphic novels and other books that I need to be stopped. I've been trying to find... Books are like heavy.
Yeah.
Like they knock over shit. It's hard to find. Here, I'll see if I can find a picture. Yeah, so I can't wait to see what they do for There and Back Again.
Me too. I just want a picture from There and Back Again right now, and I'll be satisfied. But
is there any idea when it comes out?
it comes out in December.
Oh, okay.
But usually there'll be like an ad or something by June, so hopefully. And that is our timer to tell us that that's the end of the Bro Talk.
Anonymous. Oh shit. Usually they say anonymous. Here,
Do people have home phones still? I didn't think
don't.
people still.
Oh, dude, that is a whole conversation for another day.
Dude, I didn't
Why
think
not?
people did.
We're at what? An hour and 13, and I want these to be an hour and a half. Get into it. Why do you think that?
Dude, because
I
They're
don't have one
dumb.
anymore.
who fucking wants a home phone besides like old people who don't go out of the house, or someone who wants to be called by like Comcast or telemarketers or some shit? Because it's like we all have cell phones. Like I would feel like you'd be a minority if you don't have a cell phone, or I guess this would be a reach, but a smartphone, because most people have them. So now it's like, why would you need the extra $20 a month to have another phone?
Yeah, no,
when you
I just
already
don't
have
see a
one?
purpose for a home phone. I have a home phone in my house. Don't see what purpose for it.
Yeah, we had one, and then it stopped working. So we had like this one that AT&T gave us that plugs into the wall. You know, all the corded stuff. And the only calls we get on our home phone are either from my grandma, or like people trying to solicit things.
Exactly. Like it's like I feel like that's the DVD, man. It's
And
getting
then again,
obsolete.
my grandma calls my dad on his cell phone now instead of a home phone. 'Cause
So
nobody
Well,
nobody answers
some
it.
companies you have to have a home phone to get internet.
Really?
Like it's a bundle. Like you can't just get internet.
that's how they fucking
But
get you, dude.
they're about.
Well, actually, the reason we have home phone is because it's cheaper. To do the triple bundle, which is cable, internet, and phone, is cheaper than doing cable and internet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, well, why not just have the phone? You know, it's going to be cheaper anyway.
That's a good point. I feel like I don't know. There's a lot of things that are getting a little obsolete as time goes on, to where it's like it's a matter of time until it fizzles out.
Okay, what do you guys think we won't see in 15 years?
Music stores. Like I don't know how that's still a thing.
Dude, yeah. Look at
But
those.
music stores, like, do people buy CDs anymore?
No,
do on
but
my
Like a Paul
phone.
buy CDs.
I do on my phone. I don't buy like discs.
Like,
That's what we're
I'm
saying. That's
it's
what he's
like
saying.
discs. Like you go to the music store and you're like, "Hey, buddy, what's?"
But
the
you know
good
what I
music?"
think is going
There's
to be
still people
really
that
popular?
buy records.
I think record stores are going to start popping up even more.
Dude, those are awesome.
Yeah.
Because I buy records. I
Yeah.
personally buy vinyls.
Yeah, I just got a
I don't think
a
those will ever go
turntable.
away because they've always been in stores like Hot Topic, but they haven't been like really. They've always been like Blink 182 and like Sum 41. They've
Yeah.
never been like every single band. But I definitely think you're right. where they'll start all coming. It just sounds better.
It does. I don't think they'll go away. I think CDs will go
You
away.
want to know? I think it's gonna go away. Like iPods, I think, in the next 15. I think because I think iPhones will stick around. But
Well, yeah.
when was the last time you got excited about hearing about the new iPod that came out?
Because it's always is like
Like
it can do everything the 5S does except for call.
And you know what? I would think the only time I was excited was when I was younger, but now kids just get phones.
Yeah.
and
Or
And
iPads.
that goes back to the times before iPhones were really the big shit to have. Like, it took
because iPhones weren't actually all that great.
It
Well,
took
they still aren't
like
all that
3
great, but-
generations
Mm-hmm.
to get the iPhone as like half of Americans have this
Like
phone.
when it started to get to 4th gen, it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, when the 4th gen, I think.
That's
most
what I noticed them pop up
Americans-
everywhere. Was when iPhone 4 came out.
And then the 4S, and then people were like, "Holy shit! Everybody else has an iPhone. I gotta go get an iPhone."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I think that's what really killed the iPod, is it was like,
They killed themselves.
And-
Apple killed its own product.
and it's like every single phone plays music now. And I'm sorry, you're never gonna have so many contacts that your phone is full. And with the way that I don't know if iTunes does this and the music player does this, but the way Google Play runs, which is the Android iPod pretty much on your phone, it will it'll download the last 100 songs that you've played, but it's temporary. So if you haven't listened to that out of the last 100 songs that you played, it'll forget it off your phone so it doesn't take up the space.
That's cool.
So it's pretty much all you have to do is re-listen to it with internet, and then you can listen to it all you want until it falls out of that cache of
100 songs.
yeah, or whatever the number is.
Mm-hmm.
And with my phone, I pretty much, when I get a new album, obviously I listen to that 10 times more than anything, but it's 4 blank albums, a couple Sum 41 albums, a couple All American Rejects albums, and then it just is nothing else is really saved on my phone because I don't listen to it that much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I personally find dumb? Tablets.
Yeah.
I don't see the point of having a tablet when you can just have a small laptop like the MacBook Air, for example, what Carlton has.
I love my MacBook Air, by the
Well,
way. Everybody should
because the MacBook Air is the same size as it folds up in the same size as a lot of tablets, but it has the power to do so much more than a tablet.
And it has
keyboard.
And it has so much more memory, and it's so much easier to type on.
I will say I've been impressed with the Microsoft Surface now that I've got to play with it a little bit.
Granted, this is 2-3 times the price of an iPad. How much is an iPad? 500?
iPad is
Probably around there.
it's 600, 700.
Okay, this was 1,200 new, but that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Couple
The
years
new, I
ago.
think the most recent MacBook Pros are 1,300.
Do you hear it? So the CEO of Apple announced that the iPhone 6 is going to be expensive, but he said that doesn't matter because the iPhone fan base is so loyal. So pretty much what he's saying is everybody is such an iPhone zombie.
He's
Yeah.
like, these fuckers are still buying. $700. Hey, you guys got my back, right?
Dude, I think Galaxy announced that too. I think it's going to get to a point where pretty much everybody's either going to have a Galaxy or an iPhone.
Yeah.
I can't... BlackBerry? What? Who the fuck has a BlackBerry still?
Dude, I just got my Droid 3.
Dude, I remember when I got my first cell phone, it was this piece of shit flip phone, and that was right at the time that the Motorola Razr came out.
Oh,
and
everybody
all the cool
fucking
people
loved
had a
it.
fucking Motorola Razr.
And then
I
for
remember
me,
that.
because my sister, that I didn't have a phone until.
He didn't have anybody to talk to.
That's you were totally right. I got my phone in 7th grade, my first one, and it was like a chocolate. And then
I know that.
And
Oh,
then
yeah.
the next
The
phone,
one that Casey still probably has.
yeah, the next phone that everybody, all my friends were super obsessed with was the Envy.
We were
and then
just
the
talking
Envy
about
2.
that.
Yeah.
Everybody had fucking Envy too.
I went from before I had the NV3, I had this phone that I thought was gonna be super cool. When you flipped it one way, it was like a phone, and then you turned it and you flipped it another way, and it had
Oh,
a
yeah.
keyboard.
Yeah.
That was the shittiest phone I've ever had in my whole
Um,
life.
I
Yeah.
still don't understand how that phone
I got
works.
super excited because I was on Verizon. I'm on AT&T now, but I
I'm
had
sorry.
Verizon, and my mom's friend had just gotten a new phone, so she let me have her her Envy 2, and I was like, this is the coolest phone ever. And then my parents were like, we're switching carriers. You get this weird touchscreen phone that doesn't work. I was like, man. I mean, now I realize it's a phone, and I was still lucky to have it. But
I definitely remember, like,
I was like, I love my Envy 2.
probably around our 7th grade, 8th grade year. 4 years ago maybe. I had this a Voyager.
My sister had the Voyager.
So it had the sort of touchscreen that didn't really work, and then the
still
keyboard.
had the keyboard.
You know, a phone I always thought was super top, but like, it never really sold. The one that was like, it was pure chrome, and like the buttons lit up, and it was like a touchscreen in that aspect, and then I had a flip up keyboard. I always thought that one was top.
I thought for a while flip up keyboards were the shit. Like, 'cause
So
that's how you text the bitches, man.
So what's next?
I think it went to touch screens with the
I think
it's
this is
there.
where it's gonna be for a while
I think
before it's just like you have a text message, send a reply, and you don't have to push anything. You'd be like, blah blah blah, and they'll be like,
So it'll be like a phone call?
exactly. That's what I hate about whenever I hear
When
someone
it's voice
fucking
command.
voice command, send text to mom. I'll be home. Fucking call your mom.
Mom, when do you want me home? Fucking call her, man.
Because then, God knows, when you have Siri, you'll be like, text mom, when do you want me home? And then it'll be like, text mom, I fucking hate you. And you're like, no, Siri, that's not what I said at all.
Dude, Siri fucks up. Like, I've used it only a few times, but it's because I don't really
Isaac
find a
is
practical use
obsessed
for
with
it.
her.
Oh my god, that's the thing is like when I got my 4S, I was like, Siri's awesome, and now I'm like occasionally I'm like, hey Siri, fuck yourself. I'm like, Siri, give me directions to home. You want directions to Rome? You can't walk there. Like I fucking know I can't walk to Rome.
How long until phones are just like a piece of glass with like no back? No,
Just
it'll
like
be
a
weird.
little
It's
thin
just as like
sheet.
what your screen is now. It doesn't have anything
Dude,
around
people
it.
can see what
4
I'm
years.
doing on my phone.
4 years until it's like crystal clear, because they'll be like, dude, it's transparent.
I've always seen like concept art of it,
Yeah.
and so I've always wondered.
Yeah,
like,
clear
I
your
fucking
phone.
hate when people are like, this is the new iPhone. It projects a little keyboard.
I
It's
hate
like, that's
how
impossible.
a month after every single iPhone comes
release.
out, there's a new concept for the next one. Like nobody can ever fucking be happy.
And it's always like the same one from the year before.
Like people don't.
iOS 7.3.
That just pisses me off. Going to a whole nother thing. Carlton knows how mad this makes me. I fucking hate that for the past 4 years, I've had to see, this is the day Marty McFly went to. It's fucking not the day. That day's next year. It's in 2015. Jesus Christ.
And every time I'm like, well, not every time, but a lot of the time when I hang out with Cody, I'm like, hey Cody, what's the date? And he'll be like, I don't know, like March 10th. Why? He's like, holy shit, didn't Marty McFly come to this day? It'll just be sitting there driving like, and I'm just like, every day I'm a little bit closer
You know what
to
made
making
me
Cody
shit?
give up on life.
You know, maybe like I was laughing so hard when Cody posted the picture of the pink elephant car wash from Infamous, and that kid was like, "That's in Tacoma, not Seattle," and you're like, "LOL, there are more pink elephant car washes." And then you sent a link to like the Google map. Oh my god!
So in Infamous Second Son, we have the pink elephant car washes all around in Washington. I don't know if
There's
others.
literally like 10.
I don't know if other states have them, but it has this giant, obnoxious, like 30-foot sign.
Pink elephant.
It's a pink elephant, and Cody took a picture because it's in Infamous Second Son, which is in Seattle, which is like an hour drive away from.
I
where
also
we
took,
are.
because every time we go to Seattle and
We
I
park
drive,
right
I
next to
park next to the Pink Elephant car wash.
And so this kid was like, "That's in Tacoma. I drive by it every day," and I'm like, "You're fucking retarded!" Like,
It'd
really?
be like if I took a picture of a McDonald's in Seattle. It was like, look, I'm in Seattle, and someone's like, that's clearly Gig Harbor. It's like,
It's so-
fucker, there's more than one.
And so what I
McDonald's.
do is I Google Pink Elephant Car Wash Seattle, and I take a screenshot of all like the different addresses, and I post the picture, and I was like, laugh my fucking ass, like, dude, really?
Or there's that one girl who's like, "Cody, what game is this?" And Tristan comments, "FIFA 14."
Oh, okay.
He's like, "Oh wow, thanks." Oh my god.
Tristan,
That was so
Tristan's one of
funny.
those kind of people who he's like Isaac. He'll have really, really shitty jokes, 99 times, and then that 100th time, it'll just blow you out of the water so much that you'll talk about it for another 6 weeks until he makes that other one joke.
Literally, when I was playing PS4 earlier today before I came over, Tristan has been playing FIFA all morning.
Yeah, I was at his house, and I'm sitting there on the couch, and he sits down in front and goes to Netflix. I'm like, oh, sweet, I'm not going to watch FIFA 14. Then he closes out of Netflix and plays FIFA 14.
Did you do that because you said it?
No, I didn't say it.
Oh.
I literally sat there, and I was like, wow, he's not playing FIFA
Not
14.
playing
He
FIFA?
just went to close the application to play FIFA 14.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. This has been Carlton.
This is Manny.
Alec.
And Cody.
This has been the BroDen. You've been listening to BroTalk, and we'll see you guys next week.